Hey woodworkers, what's going on? 5 o'clock woodshop back, and as you can tell from the video title and the thumbnail, we're here for a little bit of spring tuning today. This is my version and should be every woodworker's version of spring cleaning. So every spring, not only should you clean up and organize the shop like we've been doing these last few months, but you should go through your heavily used power tools, especially the ones you paid a lot for and want to keep working well. Just give them a little tune up. So today we're going to work with 3 of our heavily used tools. We're going to work with our jointer, this jointer that I got, our drum sander, and then our planer. And I'll go through what I'm doing to each specifically, but it's not a lot. It won't be a long video, but there are things that you should do to keep your tools running smoothly, efficiently, and through the course of the spring and summer months. We'll do this again in the fall. Do it about every 6 months. So today here we're going to start with our joiner, and we're going to do a few things to this joiner, mainly because it's the first time that I've worked with this joiner, really done anything to it since I bought it. And as I learned with my DeWalt D735 that I got with a helical cutter head, you should always do maintenance on the tools that you buy secondhand. So this is a secondhand tool to me, and I'm going to go through and just do that routine maintenance that should be done every year to make sure that I don't run into any hiccups like I did last year, and it actually cost me some lost money on orders that I couldn't complete. So what I'm noticing about this joiner so far is that it's got some surface rust, light surface rust on the cast iron top, so we're going to go ahead and clean that off. We're also going to replace our straight edge blades. I got a brand new set. We're going to go ahead and do that, and then we're going to tune the joiner. I've gone through extensively before on how to tune a jointer. You'll see me doing it here. I'll kind of talk about it lightly, but the heavy bulk of teaching will be in the video that's linked on the screen now. It's a really popular video. It's been used by a lot of people, and I've heard it's very helpful, so check it out. Let's get into cleaning it up. Okay, so now that we've got the surface all free of dust and debris, and I'm not really harping too much on the dust on the internal components. It's a woodworking tool. It's going to get full of dust, and I don't really see it caked on too heavily. But as you can now hopefully see a little bit more clearly, we've got some evidence of surface rust on the table. And this could have even happened over the last 4 months as it sat in my shop that isn't climate controlled, and most won't be. But again, the surface looks really in pretty good condition. No real pits or divots, some scratches here and there. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a lubricant like WD-40. I'm going to spray the table, and then I'm going to take wet, dry 400 grit sandpaper. I wouldn't do anything more coarse than that, and definitely use wet so that the WD-40 breaks down that compound, the bond between the rust and the surface of the cast iron table, and we're just going to kind of buff it out. Okay, so now that we've got the surface looking much better, it's reflective now, it looks like glass, it's awesome. We're gonna go ahead and put some mineral spirits on it just to clean the surface and get the remnants of the WD-40 off the surface before we buff it with paste wax. So just your everyday mineral spirits, we'll douse a cloth and buff it out. All right, now that we've got the surface clean with the mineral oil, that's to get all of the oils off of it, even though it says mineral oil to clean it with. Anyways, the final thing we're going to do to protect our surface from rust and to create a slicker surface for the wood to slide against it, reduce the friction, right? And we're going to apply some finishing paste wax. You can get this stuff anywhere, any big box store. This is from Menards. I think... I'm not going to say it because I don't know off the top of my head. I think it's like, well, I guess they will. Johnson's Paste Wax is the kind of go-to for old school woodworkers, but they don't make it anymore, and it's really expensive. You don't need that stuff, though. Min Wax, finishing paste wax will do. You just dab some on like you would a cutting board and really buff it on there, and then we'll go through with a clean cloth and buff it further. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do for our spring tune-up on our jointer is we're going to replace the cutter heads. And, well, the blades in the cutter head, sorry. The way we're going to do this is by using something called a jointer pal, which I've just discovered. I've never had anything with straight blades before. I've been lucky enough that every tool I've owned has had a helical type square, blade, like my planer and my other wind jointer. This one, however, is a straight blade for now. So this jointer pal, made by Woodstock, affiliate link will be in the description. It makes aligning this blade with the outfeed table really easy so that you don't have to mess with the outfeed as much. And since this is a straight blade, you really want each side of the blade to be exact. You don't want this side to be higher than that side, otherwise you'll never get a flat board, which is right the point of a jointer. So we're going to go ahead and use this. Strongly recommend you use it. It's worth getting to avoid the headache. And you need an 8mm wrench. So we're going to jump right in. I'm just going to go ahead and change a blade and let you guys follow along. I'll put instructions up on the screen as we get to each new step. All right, so now we get to the part that I was alluding to at the beginning of the video. Since we've changed all our blades, we're just gonna go ahead and check blade alignment. So let me go ahead and raise the bed back up here. Gonna come up to max. Should be about level with the infeed, or the outfeed, sorry. I'd call it about right there. Okay, so we'll go ahead and lock that into place. So now we've got parallel infeed and outfeed tables. It's obviously not how you would joint, but we're just going to go ahead and make sure that our blades are aligned to the correct height of the outfeed table. So you take a straight edge, you put it across the infeed and the outfeed table. You really don't want there to be any rock when you're touching the outer edge of your straight edge, and I don't have any. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn the blades in the direction that they would spin. And what we want to look for is that it catches the straight edge ever so slightly. So let's see what happens here. There it is. And it's going to move it just a little tiny bit. Okay, so you want it to grab it, move it, and be done. You want to check that all your blades do that. Now this might be a little bit of an aggressive push, but if you read the manual for the JP06101, I believe this is the model of the rigid joiner, it tells you that you should place your blades about 1/16 of an inch above the cutter head, which is what we did with the assist from that jointer pal. Okay, so the other thing that we have to do, since we just checked all three blades, we have to make sure that it does it not only in the back, but in the front. Because remember I said that jointer pal is specifically useful because coplanar, that's what that means. Sorry, not parallel. These outfeed and the infeed table are coplanar. We want to make sure that the blades are aligned in the front and the back. So spinning, and that's exactly what I want to see. And again, I'll link that video to the joiner how-to or joiner 101 video that I made a couple years back. And it goes through all this in great detail. But that's good. Blades are replaced and aligned. Okay, now the very last thing that we want to do, now that the blades are aligned and we've cleaned our surface, is we want to make sure that our joiner is, well, set up to joint, right? And, the joiner can be used for many things, many things. But among them, you want to get a straight edge. And to get a straight edge, you have to have a perfectly 90-degree angle between your infeed outfeed table and the fence. And so there are two ways that we can assure that. There are probably more than two. There are two that I can do, and then I'll show you today. So the first one is probably the most common. You take a combination square if you have one, or like me, a dead-on right angle square, and you can place it against your fence once your fence is locked to the 90-degree position. And what you're looking for is that there is no light seepage through the top here or through the bottom. Now, I'm not sure what you can see in your camera or on my camera. Let me see there, and I'm zoomed in about as much as I can. I'll zoom in some more on the screen, but there's definitely some light seepage. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna adjust the positive stop of my, and I'm just gonna make sure that this is as 90 as I can get it before I start adjusting anything. So I'm gonna loosen, and I'm gonna adjust till it hits that 90, and I can already tell you, yeah, I'm gonna have to adjust. So, all right, so I'm gonna get the correct size wrench, and I'm gonna adjust my positive stop. So, we've gone ahead and we've adjusted, and now you can see there's no seepage. Now the second way that you can test this, and hey, just for Pete's sake, you wanna test it on both the in feed and the out feed. So the other way we can test it is you take a Wixie digital gauge like this on, I'm gonna zero it to the table. There we go, okay, and then I'm gonna put it on here and we should get, so it's a 90.3. Gosh, it's so close, and it's so temperamental. So I think I'm gonna call that good. 90.2. See what it was over here. About a 90.3 again. 90.1, oh, it's bouncing. So, I mean, that's really close. I'm gonna call it good there. All right, and just like that, we're done with the jointer portion of this video. Don't mind the shop foreman. We're not actually woodworking, so he can be out here with me. He loves it. But we're done with the jointer portion of this video. So just to recap, the spring tuning that we did on this jointer today is we went ahead and removed the surface rust and dirt, any other buildup from the cast iron top, and then we applied paste wax to add a protective barrier between the moisture content, humidity in the air, and the cast iron top, and to provide some compound to reduce the friction as you move your workpiece over the joiner. Okay, then we replaced our blades with brand new ones, straight blades. We used our Joiner Pal, affiliate link in the description down below, to align our blades to the outfeed table so they move that straight edge about 1/8 of an inch every time we spin the cutter head. And then finally, we made sure that our fence backstop at 90 degrees was accurate, so that every time we reset this fence to 90 degrees, it's 90 degrees, and we're able to get that perfectly square edge to the surface of our workpiece, which is, you know, a lot of what a joiner is used for. Okay, so that's the first portion of this video. Now we're gonna move on to the drum sander, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, and just like that, we're done with the first video in our spring tuning series. So I know at the beginning of the video, I said we would do all 3 tools in this one video. Well, after post-edit, that video was like 36 minutes long, and nobody wants to sit through a video that long to watch me do some maintenance on 3 tools. So I'm gonna break it down into 3 parts. The first part being our jointer. That's what we took care of today. So a quick recap, what we did is we went ahead and we took care of the surface of our cast iron jointer, not exclusive to the RIGID JP06101. This would work for any cast iron surface tool, and then we put paste wax on it to protect it from the elements, from future surface rust, things like that. The next thing we did is we changed out the straight blades in this jointer. Again, not exclusive to this jointer, would work for any straight blade jointer with the assistance from the Jointer Pal. Affiliate link will be in the description. And the very last thing we did was we went ahead and just made sure everything was still fine-tuned. Our blades were set to the correct height in relation to the outfeed table, and then our fence was at a good 90-degree angle for when we do our edge jointing. And so that was our jointer today. Stay tuned for the drum sander next week, and the week after that, we'll finish the series with taking care of our DW735X planer. Anyways, guys, this has been 5 o'clock Woodshop. Like, subscribe, comment, and share for more as always. Let's get after it.